Hello folks. So today's video we're going to dive into a little bit into cancel culture. Seeing this from both sides now, it's getting a little bit ridiculous. People consider themselves conservative, especially the same people I've seen attacking cancel culture on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, crying about it all the time, now seem to be okay with it as long as the person being canceled is on the other side of the political aisle. And like I say, that hypocrisy is not just on the right. I see it from the left as well. Oh yeah, get rid of Alex Jones, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. But then when it's a leftist, somebody's going after it. They're like, oh, this ain't fair. You shouldn't censor people. So both sides are being hypocritical, in my opinion. So now, apparently, the latest cancel culture victims. Obviously, I don't think this is going to work in these two cases, but people going after now Tim Pool and Tucker Carlson, and why? Let's take a look at why they're going after Tim Pool. So apparently, Tim had Vaush, who is a fairly well-known socialist on social media. He had him on his podcast. Now, I used to watch Tim's podcast fairly regularly. I don't watch it as regularly as much anymore. Just don't have as much time. And my personal opinion, his podcast has kind of lost a little bit of its luster. But, it's his show. He can have whoever the heck he wants to on his show. But a lot of people are jumping on this, saying he shouldn't give a platform to him. So let's take a look here. On Twitter, you see Ian Miles Chong. Tim Pool giving a platform to a leftist. And for the sake of not being censored on YouTube, I will not say the words. So we'll say P-file supporter is pretty sick. And then Adam Krigler, who most of you know if you're familiar with Tim Pool. But if you don't follow Tim, just to kind of give you a little background, Adam and Tim are friends, or at least used to be. I don't know if they still have that friendship going or not, but I'm assuming they do since they're still housemates. Adam actually, for a little while, was a co-host or a regular guest, whatever you want to call him, on Tim's podcast. Something happened there. They've kind of gone their separate ways. Adam has putting more time into and now has his own podcast, YouTube show going on as well. And I like both of them. I watch both of them. I don't watch Tim as much anymore, but I still watch quite a bit of Tim's pre-recorded stuff where he's like going through articles and reading and giving his opinion. So I think it's a fairly interesting viewpoint as someone who still considers himself to be kind of left-leaning, but being left behind by the Democrat Party, having shifted further left than he wanted to go. And whether you like his opinions on stuff or not, I'll give Tim credit. He does his research. It's been a couple of times when I've been here in my early days of YouTube where I've been trying to research something and been on the verge of, well, do I have quite enough to make a video on it or not? And then I'll run across an article that Tim has talked about that helps confirm or deny or whatever. That's a source that I wasn't familiar with, that I'll say, hey, okay, that gives me a little bit more of a leg to stand on here, so I can go ahead and make a video on it. So Tim's a pretty good source of information. And then you see here Tim talking about, I love how this is the exact argument for not allowing Alex Jones on Rogan being used to justify why I shouldn't have Vaush on my show. Now I want Alex and Vaush on my show at the same time, just to create a cancel culture singularity. And here you have Karlin Boroshenko, who used to be on the left, now she's switched to the right. You can call me a whiner, you can call me a snowflake, you can say the lefty never left you, you can even say I'm going to book him again, and you'll just be showing that you support his mob harassing people, me and many others. That says more about you than it does about me. She has a very long thread here. You can go read it yourself. But like I say, I don't watch a lot of Vaush. He kind of strikes me like a lot of supporters of socialism do, as being a little bit arrogant, pretending to kind of know everything, not being open to ideas outside their echo chamber. But Karlin's take care. Now, if anyone has evidence of this, you can post a link in the comments below and I will stand corrected. But unless Vaush, as far as I know, he hasn't, unless he himself is on his shows or on his Twitter feed somewhere saying, hey, everybody go after Karlin, or everybody go after this person, go attack them, harass them on their social media. Unless he is sending them out there like that, you cannot hold him responsible for his viewers. People are going to do, to quote Nancy Pelosi, people are going to do what people are going to do. A very good example of this is another YouTuber that people like to go after a good bit. It's Jeremy from The Quartering. I hear him time and time again on a lot of his videos saying don't interact with this person, don't go after this person, don't attack this person, but there are people that follow him will still do it anyway. You cannot hold these people accountable for their followers, their fans. People are individuals. They're going to do what they want to do. And also, Carlin, Tim, these guys, they're big, quote unquote, big time YouTubers. I mean, they got a pretty good following out there. They're public. You're in the public eye. When you're in the public eye, you're going to have people that don't like you. They're going to attack you. Look at any politician's page. Look at Trump's page. Look at Biden's page. Look at all of them. Anybody who's got a large following, they're going to have haters. They come after them. Comes with the territory. If my channel grows and I become, quote unquote, big time on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, I fully expect that I'll have those haters as well. It comes with the territory. If you don't like it, that's why most of these social media platforms give you an option to block. That's kind of a coward's way out to some people, but it is what it is. If you can't take the heat, then block them. So again, you may not like Vaush. I don't like Vaush, but he's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to state what he wants. Just like with the Alex Jones situation, I said the same thing back then. You may think he's crazy, but he has a right to say whatever he thinks. I've said it in a previous video on censorship, but it's worth repeating. If you think a person's ideas are crazy, the best approach, in my opinion, is to let them talk more. The more a person's allowed to talk, the more comfortable they get putting their ideas out there, and they will eventually expose themselves as crazy if they are indeed. They'll start maybe with stuff that they think, okay, this can be accepted by most people in the mainstream. But as they start getting more attention, they're like, oh, okay, now I can talk about what I really want to talk about, and then they start getting further and further out there. And then, most people will just dismiss them on their own once they've heard, okay, this person's going a little bit too far to the left or too far to the right, even for me. And they'll say, okay, I'm not listening to that anymore. But if you insist on censoring them, deplatforming them, you're just drawing more attention to them. You got people out there that may not even listen to them or know much about them and say, or why are they so hell-bent on silencing this person? Let me go check out what they are saying. And, you a lot of times will actually end up giving them a larger audience and expanding their reach in the end by doing that. I mean, I'm seeing conservatives actually going after Tucker Carlson as well. And for what? Because he's choosing not to report things concerning the Biden laptop scandal that are not relevant to Joe Biden himself. You see here, this gentleman, Diamond Dane, like I said, Stick's official, which is Stick Sex and Hammer for those who are familiar with him, is right. F Fox News, they are just a couple of C hairs away from being CNN, referring to this Danko Jones person who says, that a-hole we've been warning you about for weeks, turns out I'm the a-hole. Oh boy, Tucker's going to take a ratings hit. Oh, what a cop-out. And then you'll see some people jumping, I don't get it. It seems perfectly reasonable. So, we have the clip here. We'll play it. You see what you think.
Back today, and that's great. But what we really like are some answers. And speaking of answers, it occurs as reading this that we mention the documents that we get from a lot of people. And we've received an awful lot of documents recently about Hunter Biden. We haven't aired all of them. In fact, many we have not aired. The ones that are pertinent to his business career abroad, favors he did on behalf of foreign clients to help his father, that seems relevant. And it seems like news, and we brought it to you, and we're not ashamed of that. But there are a lot of documents about Hunter Biden's personal life that we haven't brought to you, and we're not going to, and we should tell you why. One is the obvious answer. He's not running for president. And so to the extent those documents pertain to his death, of course. But Hunter Biden is a fallen man at this point. And I should also say that I knew Hunter Biden fairly well. We lived near each other in Washington for quite some time. He was what? He was an absolutely outstanding person, a good person. I never thought Hunter Biden was a bad person. I thought he had demons, but in time I knew him and he kept them mostly under control. At some point he lost control of those demons, and the world knows that now. He's now humiliated and alone. It's probably too strong to say we feel sorry for Hunter Biden, but the point is, pounding on a man, jumping on, piling on, when he's already down is something that we don't want to be involved in. So with that.
So there you have it. Me personally, I don't find anything wrong with what Tucker said. I mean, I actually agree with him, to be honest with you. If any of the stuff in the laptop is pertinent to Joe Biden himself, showing that there's some kind of potential for that he was involved in any kind of shady deals, then okay, then let's put that out there. But just stuff personal about Hunter, his addictions, stuff he's done in his personal life that Joe doesn't have any, that doesn't affect anything Joe has done, then what's the point in putting that out there? Honestly, I think all that's going to do is have the opposite effect of what people think it's going to do. I think it'll drive more sympathy votes to Joe Biden because they'll feel bad for him. It's just my personal opinion, but cancel culture is a dangerous path. Seeing those who have been railing against it for so long, considering themselves conservative, jumping on the bandwagon, supporting it when it's meant to silence someone they don't like, and that's hypocrisy. And again, like I said previously, happens on both sides of the political aisle. We need to stop this. People need to stop being so easily offended. Stop wanting to hide in your echo chambers, only surrounding yourself with views that are in agreement with our own. No one's going to grow that way. No one's going to learn that way. No one wins that way. We actually all lose in the end when we consider that we approach things that way. Both sides may have some good points. I think both sides do. But neither side will hear those points as long as all we do is sit and ignore what the other side says and want to silence anybody who thinks differently than we do. It's time to stop. This is why our country's gotten so polarized politically, is people now want to live in echo chambers. People don't want to hear anything that they disagree with. And, I think it's hurting us all. And no one's growing as a person, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. You can leave your opinion in the comments below. Appreciate you watching. You have a good day.